What's up, team? This is a summary of, I guess, the first 2 weeks. Ideally, I like to be doing this on a weekly basis. I think it'll be easier and better. But I really haven't had much time with the LAPC coming to an end, the winning or whatever the fuck the bike calls their series starting, and a lot of work. I haven't had much time. I haven't had much time to do a whole lot of things. To update you guys on this, I haven't had much time to set up the project that I'm trying to set up here. This is why we're recording this way. And I haven't figured out how to do graphics, so no graphics on this video. Sorry, no totals or whatever. But on this challenge, the challenge was to turn 15K to 100K. We started at 5.5 no limit, 500 cap. We're 3 sessions in. We had one losing session and two winning sessions. Excuse me. We're plus $1,972, which is not bad. The strategy, and we're gonna be a little bit aggressive with our strategy, is once we get to plus 5K or 20K, the roll gets to 20K. I'm gonna take the 5K profit. And I'm gonna shot take with that at the 551K cap. And the reason I'm doing this, and this is, you should not be doing this if you're grinding up. If you're grinding up, ideally, maybe you want to wait till you're at 30K. But I played these limits before in the past. I feel pretty confident playing them. Ironically enough, I feel like there's gonna be less variance because we're gonna be deeper. It's gonna be tougher decisions. And then for me, I get to remove some handcuffs that I have on when I'm starting at 100 big blinds deep, and people are spazzing out. I can 3-bet more. There's gonna be some 4-bets, and I can call a lot wider too. So I'm pretty excited about these things. The remaining of the next 3K, I want to try out the other casinos so we can compare casinos as well. So the last 3 sessions have all been at Commerce, which is great. Commerce has been good to us. But the Hustler offers this limit, Hollywood Park offers this limit, and Hawaiian Gardens offers this limit. Well, variation of this limit. It's 600 cap, but same shit, whatever. Maybe I put some volume at the furthest one, which is from my house, which is gonna be the Hollywood Park first, and then I'll do the Hustler, and then hopefully we do the last session or two at Hawaiian Gardens so that we can then start shot taking the 1Ks. So things that I've learned here. It's the Wild Wild West, man. You have people doing all kinds of crazy shit in here. The good news is it's only up from here. If people are trying to learn and get better, there's a lot to learn. I mean, I'm seeing issues with people 3-betting, the way they're continuing on some boards. I'm seeing people fucking over limp, over call. I played a hand earlier today where the whole table limps to my big blind. I ice over 65. The entire table. Let me say that again. The entire fucking table calls 65. And three people go all in on that flop, on a flop with some okayish hands. You start seeing people that think that limping everything is the best strategy. You start seeing people not going for value in situations where, like for me, it would be I would go for value on some situations. And I guess the biggest difference that I'm noticing right now between me and the regs, aside from all the fundamentals and all these different things, is understanding all that information is allowing me to lose less than them when I'm losing and win a lot more when I'm winning, going for the max, etc., etc. To people to people that are just kind of sitting at the table and sharing these moments with us, I probably just look like a maniac on some situations, but some of that craziness makes sense in my brain and it's working, so it's all good. The first session we only lost one buy-in, which was $500. Something that's really important I want to share with the team is, guys, if you're running like shit, there's a couple of things that I think you guys should practice. Things that I practice. So first and foremost, this is an ongoing game. Time is linear, guys. It just keeps going. You can literally play any day, anytime, especially at these stakes. These stakes are available all the fucking time. So if you're running like shit, and when I say running like shit, I'm talking about like your ace is getting cracked by ace king, that kind of shit. Now, I'm not talking about oh, I limped my aces to try to be to try to be tricky, and then fucking everybody called, and two people flopped two pair, and one person flopped a straight, and I still fucking piled in chips with aces, not understanding that I'm an underdog going into that flop, and fucking lost to these three people or these two people, whatever it is. That's not running bad. Running bad is what I described before that. You get it in with aces, ace king calls, your fucking 9-1 favorite or whatever, and they hit Broadway on you, three kings, whatever, a one card flush. When things like this happen, man, what what I like to do is this. So I look at the situation very in a very weird way. So I start thinking about, okay, man, we're getting dealt what, 20, 30 hands an hour maybe. We're there for 10 hours, we're seeing 200, 300 hands. It's very reasonable to run like shit for 200, 300 hands. Very reasonable. There's been actually on the 2+2 forums, there's been documented downswings of like 100,000 hands. That's also very real. Phil Goffin said it best, man. Like, get ready to run as like worse than you've ever imagined. So if I'm getting the brunt end of the stick, and it's very obvious that I'm getting the brunt end of the stick, just get up, call it a night, and that's it. If you don't want to call it a night because maybe you traveled a very long way, like a very long distance to get to these games, or you're at a house game and you gotta give 30 minutes or whatever it is, then maybe try changing either tables or try changing seats a little bit. It might help out a little bit. But I'm a big fan of, like, okay, if I'm not making, if I feel like I'm losing straight to luck and I'm not making mistakes in those hands, which is good to be objective and understand that sometimes we make mistakes, just call it a night. Tomorrow's another day. We're done. Could have I fired another 2, 3, 4 bullets on that first day? Yeah. Odds are, I could have probably lost. Like, we would have had an even set. This would be an even video because maybe I would have lost 1.5 or 2K there, and then I would have spent the next 2 days making up for that. So, word for the wise: if you're running like shit, you can always play tomorrow. Table change, seat change, get up and leave. Call it a night. Phil Ivey said once, the problem with people is that they stay too long when they're losing and they leave too early when they're winning. The only exception to this, and this should not be an exception at a 5-5, this should not be an exception at a 5-5 1K cap, or even a 5-10, because there's plenty of those games going around. The only exception is if you're playing a bigger game, you get yourself to a position where you can play for more money, and you both your skill set and your bankroll, and that in games at those levels or those limits don't run that often, and this game is good. Like, there's whales in this game. At that point, you go to the restroom, you splash some water on your face, you come back, you reload, and you just keep rolling, man.